Chris, you know how, June, they call it June gloom, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, your Oakland Athletics are 12-2 in the month of June. So we're changing that son of a bitch to June. Boom!
Opposite month, bitch. Opposite month. That's what's up. That's what's fucking up. What was it? You said 12-2?
12-2 in June.
Can you name the two losses?
I just looked, so it's cheating. It was
Damn it. Hold on. Let me think if I can think of it.
Then.
Okay. So we lost one against. It was the last series. It was not Arizona. Oh, we lost one against the Angels in the first series in the month, right? Oh no, that was in May. Fuck.
Yes.
Oh my God. Seattle?
No.
All right, I'm not going to win this game, so go ahead.
We dropped the first game against Kansas City in Oakland.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And then they dropped the third game in Colorado when Ramon Marquez just shut them down.
That's right. And Cap had no run support. He only gave up 3 runs. He had no run support. I remember that now. Yeah, in Colorado. Yeah. Touche. Julio, guess where how do I word this? Guess where I'm sitting right now? I'm sitting to a landmark of a organization. Well, I gave it away. A entity that we absolutely hate. And guess how close I am to that entity?
The Astro Stadium?
Yeah, I'm right across the street from it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's gross.
There was a game today, and me and my coworkers, we went to a restaurant down the street to go get dinner before, the restaurant's closed. And they had probably 13 to 14 TVs. And so let's say they had 14 TVs. 13 of them were on the Astros-Rangers game. One of them was on the playoff basketball game. It made no sense at all.
Well, playoff basketball doesn't exist for Houston anymore, so
I think that's what it is. And I also think that people in Texas just don't give a shit about basketball, so they're just like, fuck it.
But also, once the Astros start shitting again, they're not going to give a shit about the Astros. So
I don't know.
Anyways.
What?
All right, welcome to this week's edition of the Town Tailgate. Unless Chris had something else to say.
Well, I had a question to rebuttal to that.
Go ahead.
Do you think me and my coworkers were talking about this today? Houston specifically. I know Texas is like a football state, but Houston specifically, what sport would you consider that a state of? Like California. I mean, I don't know. I guess you could argue it, but I would say California is a baseball state. New York is a basketball state. Alabama's a football state. What would you consider, or I don't know, what would you consider Houston? Just Houston.
The city of Houston itself?
I guess state was the wrong way. City.
I don't know. And honestly, you can make the argument that like basketball is just as important in California as baseball is, and soccer too. Like even though soccer is not a popular sport. Or
what about the Bay Area? The Bay Area probably. I would say probably.
Bay Area, dude. I don't know. That's hard.
Yeah.
How many football stars have come out of the Bay Area?
Okay, well, Houston. What would you think Houston?
Okay, back to Houston. Oh God, probably football still.
Because the Texans have never been really like good enough. I would think.
Well,
that they would like.
That's their fault. We weren't like cognitively functional in football when the Oilers were around. But I'd imagine they used to lose their shit over Warren Moon throwing like 50,000 yards a game or whatever he used to do.
Yeah, he's like, it's insane that it took so long for him to get in the Hall of Fame because he's so fucking good.
Interesting. I know why, but I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, we all know why. My coworker, it took so long for him to get to the NFL too for that reason. My coworker was saying they're like Baylor football and Baylor basketball.
Oh yeah,
because
of course
they care more about college sports than they do their pros because Baylor's so successful. But anyway, this is a baseball podcast, so let's talk about baseball.
What do we got this week, Chris?
All right, so this week It looks like there is a very interesting little record that me and Julio find to be pretty humorous about one of the teams in Major League Baseball. So we're going to go over that. I have been super excited about the College World Series, so I'm going to give our audience a little bit of a preview, Julio, so that they can, if they want to tune into ESPN on the weekends and check it out, they got a little bit of knowledge of it. And of course, the A's, like we just said, are killing it in June, so we're going to talk about that. And there is one particular thing that we, as the Town Tailgate, feel like the A's need to fix. That's all the hint I'm going to give you. Just basically, we're bringing back one of our favorite segments. It's time to fix it because this one, I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
Do you want to say anything more? I kind of want to keep them guessing.
All I know is we're looking up into the heavens right now. But before we jump in, make sure to give us a follow. If you're not already on Twitter at the Town Tailgate, go ahead and to like and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Google Play. And last but not least, this is presented to you by the Around the Diamond Baseball Network. Make sure if you're not giving them a follow, Around the Diamond on Instagram, Around the Diamond on Twitter. They also have a blog. Make sure to go and like and subscribe their stuff as well. They got some quality stuff. And shout out to our good pals over at the Super Halo Bros. We're sorry that the A's had to sweep your team, but maybe you should have invested into a better rotation and bullpen. All right, Chris.
I said it was going to happen, and it happened.
Well, look, Chris, it looks like these baseballs have been the stickiest of the ickiest, but not for too much longer. MLB has fun. We've been talking about it since it feels like all year, since the beginning of 2021. And MLB has laid down the hammer. They're going to be ejecting and suspending players 10 games for illegal use of foreign substances. How this will work out is I'm looking for the exact number in front of me, but umpires will be checking regularly throughout the game for starters as well as relievers to make sure that there's no any foul play that's going to be there besides their rosin bags. And well, it finally happened. There's a little more we're going to talk about it, but initial thoughts.
Okay. I'm not going to speak on this too much because, like I texted you yesterday, we've had a segment dedicated to this the past 3 podcasts, and I think I've said all I need to say on the matter in general. I think the opinion is out there. Let me give you the bullet points if you haven't listened to our last 2 podcasts. I don't give a shit what you use to make yourself a better pitcher. I literally don't give to. I see that too. Sorry, we got the basketball game on in the background. the Jazz and the Clippers.
Rudy just got dunked on. Sorry.
Yeah. But I don't really give 2 shits what you do as a pitcher to enhance yourself, or in terms of using substances. I don't give a fuck. Like if it's a rule, if the rule says that you could do it, great, go ahead and do it. But the rule says that you can't do it. So if it's against the rules, I'm an avid motivator of being against the rules. So it should not be allowed. But I'm going to contradict myself. The fact that they are making this rule in the middle of the season, in the middle of the fucking season, is an absolute, utter, just clusterfuck, horrendous, classic MLB joke. It's just like I don't like, I can't wrap my head around like their not analytics department. They're like their leadership. Obviously Mark Manfred's an idiot, but like everybody who's involved in the front office of running this league, how I question the intelligence of these people that are surrounding Rob Manfred, because this is like one of the stupidest. They're reacting to a terrible PR mistake. Like, wouldn't you say that's what it is, Julio?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, because it's a weird thing.
They're so desperate PR wise to get back in the good grace of the public that they just instantly react to something instead of like putting actual thought and like doing the research and everything like that to find out how to fix it.
Well, here's the analogy I was thinking of. Because imagine fantasy football. Imagine halfway through the season, or like a quarter where the commissioner is like, all right, we're not using tight ends anymore. We're getting rid of tight ends. You can't use tight ends anymore. Well, cool for the guys who have like Jack Doyle, doesn't affect them. what happens if you have like, dude, like I have George Kittle. It's like I have Darren Waller. Like these are the most elite guys. They really bring stuff to my team. And the whole analogy behind it, and we're going to get into this in a second, is like, how do you expect these guys to make this adjustment on the fly when some people have been using it consistently throughout the season? And these are things you just don't change overnight. Now, to go back to this whole thing, and this is what I think we really want to talk about more, is Tyler Glasnow. He is he was the Cy Young favorite in the American League right now, in my opinion. He was going to be the All-Star. He was probably going to be the starting pitcher as a part of like the best team in the American League with the Rays.
Yeah.
That's not happening anymore because he has a partially torn UCL. He may be out for the season. It sounds like he's probably going to be coming back towards the end of the season. But if you get a chance, go look at his clip. It's probably on YouTube. It's on Twitter. It's all over the place. But he's pretty much said, like, look, I knew this was going to be coming. I have used some stuff before for substance. And I know that one of the things that people are using is like a combination of rosin and sunscreen. Trevor Bauer had a video where he put that on his hand. This was yesterday he posted, and he's like, look, like this is just from rosin and sunscreen. Mm-hmm. And compared to like what the hardcore stuff is called, like spider tacky, or something like that. And it's supposed to like change the grip. But he stopped using it. He went cold turkey a few weeks ago and he lit it up. He had a fantastic game and he just said his arm is feeling a little wonky. And then on Sunday, he left after the fourth inning because he was feeling injury. Well, guess what? He had a partially torn UCL because he had to completely change the way he was gripping the ball. He had to completely change where he was going to be releasing it, the mechanics of how you're pitching. And it's all about the angles. It's all about like where your finger placement is going to be at. And you don't just change that in 3 weeks in the middle of the season. That's something.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Like how much your mechanics change over like little things like that, like just grip things in order to get like, you know, just a little bit more rotation or a little bit more control in the ball. Like that's pretty wild. I mean, that's what I'm saying, Julio. Like this is fucking ridiculous. Like I don't agree with like I'm not saying that like. So what I said the past 2 weeks is like, it's against the rules. Don't fucking do it. Like if you get caught, I don't feel bad for you. I still feel that way. But I will say that like to crack down on it now in the middle of the season when all these guys have to readjust to it is just crock shit. Like it's been known that it's been like kind of overlooked in the game for the past however long. Like I can't like, I mean, I remember it's a scene in Major Leagues, the movie Major League. Remember the guy, it's not Billy Bob Thornton, but he looks like him. He goes like, he shows like all the different like types of substances he has like on his body in order to use to grip the ball because he's super fucking old. It's so stupid, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's when I was saying like it's a reaction to the PR. Like this has been a massive like PR fiasco for the MLB, making them look stupid the past couple of weeks ever since Joe West did that whole thing with what's his face, the reliever, and now they're just panicking, reacting to that situation, and they're making an immediate rule. It's like, handle this in the off season. Just wait, just deal with the PR issue, because honestly, realistically, it's gonna blow over. That it's just gonna happen. People are gonna forget about it in a month, and it'll be fine. And do the research, like look at the numbers and look at like the science and try and fix it in a more appropriate and safe manner in the offseason, and with enough time where pitchers can adjust to it, so they can have the whole offseason with their trainers and their coaches to readjust to that situation. Like it's just, yeah. And it feels like it feels like with this podcast, Julio, that like the MLB can never do anything right, but they can't. They're not doing anything right, and something needs to be done. I think that's part on. Something needs to be done because we're having guys, because Glasnow said it himself. He's like, dude, I'm 6'7". Mm-hmm. Like we don't have, and now if you look at majority of starters who throw as hard as he does, they're huge. Like, dude, Ohtani is I think like 6'4", and he throws like 99, and he has like a 95 mile per hour splitter. Yeah.
These aren't, guys that were there 20 years ago or Yeah, like these aren't guys who are throwing 20, 30 years ago that hard anymore. Like these are a whole different sort of beast. It's kind of, if you look at like professional sports all over the place, you kind of seeing like these new hybrids of athletes who are learning to pitch. And I do agree that like offense is terrible right now. Like their batting average are down everywhere. I couldn't even tell you the last time the A's, that's probably a Coliseum problem, but I couldn't even tell you the last time the A's have had a 300 hitter. It's insane. That's offensive problem.
They got one close to it right now.
Hey, but I think the big thing too, and I wanted to kind of go a little bit towards this Glass now quote. He just said, I don't know. I don't want this to happen to anyone else. It's like my lifelong dream is to win a Cy Young, to be an all-star, and now it's just shit on. It's now over. Now it's just rehab and come back in the playoffs. I'm clearly frustrated. You just can't tell us to use nothing. It's crazy. Because look, this guy throws 100 miles per hour naturally. And yes, having a grip and having like whatever substance he may use, whether if it's like the combo of sunscreen and rosin, or if he has using like the spider tack, it helps him control that a little bit. Would you rather have that, or would you rather have, somebody getting drilled in the ribs at 100 miles per hour a few times a game? Or are you going to tell them, oh, don't throw as hard? Like there's right now it got to the point where this has been a problem. This has been in the spotlight, at least in the baseball community, for some time. And it seems like they're just getting to the issue too late. And now you have, I don't mean to shit on Garrett Cole. Like I still think he's an excellent pitcher. He had a great game tonight, but it's like now you're going to have people who've really been taking advantage of that stuff over the last few years, getting these fat contracts for it. While guys who haven't been using it, who, might just have bad luck somewhere, they're not going to get their money's worth. They're not going to get paid. And that's the kind of thing that's bullshit to me.
I wonder if two things. I wonder if this is a reaction to like them cracking down on it even before they released these rules and stuff like that. I wonder if that's a result to they did some studies and found out that pitchers were using it, and like, did some investigations, found out pitchers, which is how the increase in level of pitching, why that's been so good this year. And I also wonder if pitchers started doing that more around the league as a result to counteract the juice balls. So it's like, all right, well, if the league is going to juice these balls, then I'm going to do this because I have to take every advantage I can because they're giving every advantage to the hitter. So I wonder if that I would be shocked if that wasn't the domino effect of why we are here right now.
Just a Cold War, man. I'm ready to move on, but before we do, just out of curiosity, when you're playing plus years ago, but like, do you know like when dudes in high school were using it, like, or do you know if anybody was using anything to help with that? Bless you. Because obviously people have always used grip. There's always been some sort of a grip because throwing a baseball is hard.
I don't know enough. I can't. I mean, it wasn't out in the open. I know we did have pine tar in our dugout, like that was a thing. But I don't know if any pitchers dabbed some up on themselves before they went. I know that two of our hitters used it, and it was like the whole thing. They had the leather like clamp, like just hanging on the dugout, and right before they would go, they would do it up and they'd go. But I never. I don't know. None of my friends. I can't think of off the top of my head. Really. I even asked there and open about it. At least.
I even asked my nephew. Shout out to Mateo. He's he plays freshman ball. I think their season just wrapped up. But I asked him like, dude, do you know of anybody, like, are you kids your age using it? And he's like, I don't know of right now. But and my reply was probably that those punk ass De La Salle kids are. All right. Instead of shitting on De La Salle, we got to shit on. This is arguably the worst fan.
Shit on the Angels and John? No, just kidding.
No,
we'll save that for in a little bit.
Yeah. This arguably might be some of the worst run of baseball we've seen in a long time. The Arizona Diamondbacks, who in April looked like a nice story. They're being competitive. Their offense is really clicking, and they still have like a pretty decent offense.
Julio, there's always like a nice April story where a team just goes on this insane run. You're like, how the fuck are they doing it? They're like 5 years away. Like the Mariners do it like almost every year.
But they have a good offense. Like there's no denying that. They just have dog shit.
Kettle Marte is dope as fuck.
Yeah. Anyways, they have lost tonight, pending, but it doesn't look like they're going to be coming back. They have lost 22 straight road games, which is now, I believe, an MLB record.
Let me just tell the listeners. Last night we were writing up the rundown for this podcast, and we were FaceTiming, and we were watching the Giants game because the A's just ended. Because we wanted to check in on this. And the Diamondbacks were winning at the bottom of the eighth, and then they were winning by what was it? They were winning by 3 runs, Julio, and then Yaz steps up, hits a walk-off, or not a walk-off, hits a grand slam, and then the Giants closer just closes out 1, 2, 3, and we're like, no way, this is just such bad luck.
The crazier thing is like, I think everybody knew that was going to happen. Like when we were talking, I didn't say it, but I'm like, he's going to hit it out. Like, that's 22 straight.
What did we say? We're like 2 outs, bases loaded, and your best player is up to bat. It's not looking good, or no, not looking good. It's like this is just an incredible story being ready to be written. Anyway.
And then keep in mind too, the D-backs again. Kind of, I want to give them some credit where credit due. They scored 7 runs in like the first inning of those first 2 innings yesterday.
Yeah.
And then it didn't go well. So what makes them so terrible? Their rotation is the better guys. So like Mad Bum's been a bust this year. And then oh my God, I'm spacing out who's their supposed ace. Oh my God.
Kevin Gausman. Oh no, that's
Zach Gallen.
Yeah,
it's Kevin
I'm
Gausman.
tripping. Yeah, I don't know. The Giants rotation came to mind for some reason.
But anyways,
I have no idea
he's been hurt. Their rotation is just beat up. Their bullpen's just as worse. Shout out to Joaquin Soria getting away with that bag over there. They're the first team. I heard this on the Angels broadcast earlier because I had to watch the Angels for being in LA. And they said they're the first team since I can't remember when that has had 2 separate 13-game losing streaks this early in the season. They're terrible. Besides, I think what doesn't help is I think this is pretty similar to like the AL Central last year, which is like you're going against the Giants, the Padres, and the Dodgers consistently.
So you're just getting your ass fucking kicked on a regular basis.
Someone's going to be the person to get that ass whooping consistently, and it's them. And obviously, as they're about to get swept out of San Francisco right now, it's them. I don't know. Like, how do you get out of that funk? What do you do besides, firing people? Which, like, I don't know what that's going to do for you now. Like, how do you get out of this miserable feeling? We started 0-6, and the world was falling apart. Imagine losing 22 straight road games.
Oh my God, man. I don't want to ever go back to those dark days. And the first episode of the podcast this season was just a total bitch fest for us. I can't even imagine what 3, 4, 5 episodes in would be with a record like that. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if there's one thing you could do, because you're obviously not going to make any moves at the trade deadline because your fucking team sucks. But maybe you just accept the losing and you just start selling off guys.
And that note, I will take one David Peralta. Thank you very much. If you can get Mad Bum on the cheap and they'll pay that contract, I will gladly take him in as well. Get some of that playoff experience, that rotation. No, he's not good.
That'd be great.
Also, look, I don't know how you feel about Mad Bum. I've had my mixed feelings of him over these last, 12, 13 years of him ruining my baseball life, more or less. But now I'm at peace with it because he's terrible. He's on a terrible team and he's getting paid out. So he's somebody else's problem. And I feel like the Giants feel even better about it.
I think this is when you know that the Giants have sucked for like 5 years, is that anytime you bring up like any good pitcher to a Giants fan, the first thing that they say. Like they cut you off if you're going to talk first, and they cut you off and they to say to like just have a quick little like jerk off sesh about Mad Bum's run into the 2014 season. Like it's just like, dude, that was 5 years ago. You're still talking about that? Like, get over it. Like, and
7 years ago.
You could bring up like, oh man, like you'll be like, I'll be like, let's say I'm watching a game on TV with a Giants friend, and I'll be like, you look at the stat line, and it's like Trevor Bauer, like 2 hits, 11 Ks, no walks. You're like, oh man, what a stat line! Trevor Bauer's so good. Yeah, not as good as Mad Bum in 2014. It's like, okay, guys, like for real, like, all right, come on, let's just get a life.
Well, let's see. They might be getting a life right now. We'll have to see what Xavier.
Yeah, this is the first season in a long time where the Giants fans don't talk about Mad Bum. So that's when you know something's happening.
Kevin Gausman? No, Kevin Gausman will shut him down. No way. No way. All right, Chris. I'm going to let you take it away from here because I don't know jack shit besides Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker. So they've got a big stuff going on this weekend. The College Baseball World Series.
Who's Kumar Rocker playing for again?
Vandy. It's him and Jack Leiter are the 1-2, and they're just if you don't know who they are, they throw fucking gas.
He's not related to John Rocker, just so the audience knows.
Dude, he's like it's pretty tight. I hope he's gonna be like a top 5, top 10 pick, but he's gonna be like one of the first Indian American pitchers like at that high of a level in baseball. Like,
yeah, dude. So they fucking played in the Super Regional. They played hold on, I'm trying to remember right now, so I'm looking it up. And they just dominated them in the Super Regional, it's best of 3 series. So okay, for the ladies and gentlemen out there who are not into college baseball, welcome. I am your czar for this tour, Chris Magic over here. I would say that as a fan of college baseball, I have always kind of paid attention to the College World Series and the NCAA tournament, but I wouldn't say I've followed it so closely. Like if it's on at a bar, I'll pay close attention to it. I do like to know who the prospects are going into the draft a little bit, but MLB draft's so hard to be so in on that because there's just so many high school prospects that are a part of the situation. But this year in particular, so this past weekend, sitting on my couch. I have 3 TVs in my living room, so I got to watch something. I was watching the NBA playoffs, watching a little bit of golf, and then I turn on ESPN, and the NCAA tournament is on, and it's a super regional. So this is the best. This is the round of 16 part of the tournament. And I turn on what game was it? It was Notre Dame versus Texas. Oh, wait, no, not Texas. Notre Dame versus Mississippi State. The game is in Mississippi. Little did I know, Mississippi State is a hardcore baseball program. I did not know that. Those fans are just rocking their fucking faces off. The stadium at Mississippi State is like built like a fortress. They have dorm rooms that are in the left field, outfield. So there's like kids like on their balconies, like right in the outfield, like just like pounding beers and hanging out. It's really cool. Or not dorm room, it's just an apartment building. And I'm like, man, this is so much fun. Like they're so into it, and it's best of 3 games. The players are all into it, and it's like it's not even a close game. But like when a strikeout happens in a 7-1 game, like they're losing their mind. I'm like, oh my god, this is so much fun to watch. Like just the amount of like enthusiasm for the game. So I got super into it this week. I watched like almost every single game this week. I encourage you to watch it too. If you like college sports and you like the fan interaction and like just like a World Series atmosphere for every single game, like because these are college athletes, they have nothing to gain or nothing to lose and everything to gain. It's not like professional athletes. It's not like I'm going to get paid them. Yeah, that's it. I think that's why they're and they're young and they're a little more into it. It's so much fun to watch. So I highly encourage you watch it. So the NCAA tournament for baseball is a lot similar to basketball. 64 teams enter a bracket, and the last 8 teams remaining go to the College World Series. Now, the reason why they do it that way instead of like just a regular tournament is because the NCAA tournament is a double elimination tournament. So if you lose, you go into a loser's bracket in order to make it out of that end of the bracket. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's the fun thing about it. So because it's baseball, Um, and especially with pitching and stuff like that, you never know what you're going to get every day. They make it a double elimination, so you still kind of have a chance. The 8 teams in the College World Series this year are Vanderbilt, which, if you don't pay attention to college baseball, Vanderbilt's like the Alabama of college baseball right now. They either win it, or like the past 15 years, they've either won it or they've been in the College World Series, or like they've been in the College World Series the past like 15 years. What's up?
Vanderbilt, also to give a reference, home former Cy Young winner David Price, former Oakland great Sonny Gray, and current Oakland great our dude Tony Kemp. Just want to throw that out there.
Many more along that list. They get all the best prospects. They have an amazing program. Their coach is fantastic. They have been in the College World Series. I don't have it in front of me, but a shit ton of times. If you were to blindly go into this and not know the seeding, that would probably be your main pick that you want to go for. But this year, the number 1 overall seed in the tournament was Arkansas. Arkansas lost in the Super Regional in 3 games to NC State, which NC State was an at-large bid. They were not a seeded team at all. So for them to make a run all the way through and take down Arkansas, which I don't have the record in front of me, but I think they only lost 3 games or something like that this season, is absolutely incredible. So they're in this. They're the only Virginia is also not ranked, but they are one of 2 unranked teams in the tournament. If you're a Pac-12 fan, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 Pac-12 teams in College World Series. Arizona, which is the Pac-12 powerhouse of baseball. I have their stats actually in front of me. They have won the College World Series 4 times. They have been the runner-up 4 times. They have made, this is not good enough at math, but 10-plus appearances in the College World Series. They are a very good team, and also the city of Tucson very much rallies around their team because they're very good. So watching their games are very exciting. Second team out of the Pac-12, Stanford. Don't know enough about their program, but they're cool. Did you want to say something about Arizona?
I'm trying to make a symbol of a tree.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I will say though, Arizona, I think U of A, extremely underrated athletics. I think they don't get enough love in terms of Arizona basketball historically. U of A.
Yeah. I would agree.
Shout out to Andrew Walter, I guess, but like I can't think of U of A football much.
Andrew Walter was Arizona State.
Oh, was Arizona State or U of A? Fact check. Hold on. Keep going.
I think he was Arizona State. Anyway, I think they're good swimming and water polo and stuff like that too. But baseball and basketball are their bread and butter. Stanford, I don't know enough about their program, but I think they are somewhat successful. Was it Arizona State?
You're right.
Told you. Sun Devils. Tennessee Volunteers, they were the number 3 seed. They also have a historically very good program. Virginia was an at-large bid. They kind of snuck into the tournament, and they made their way. They beat in the last round. This was actually a really cool story. I was kind of hoping that they would make it in. Dallas Baptist University. So Dallas Baptist University, and this is a 3-game series. It was the last series of the entire Super Regional. So Virginia was the last team to make it into the College World Series. Dallas Baptist University, very small school, obviously in Dallas. They only have 1 Division I athletic program, and it was baseball. And this is the first time they've ever made it to the Super Regional in baseball. So if they would have made it to the College World Series, that would have been really cool. Like that would have been the David of the Goliaths, basically. And then rounding it out is Mississippi State, which again I said has a very historically good baseball team. Other than Vanderbilt, they would other than Vanderbilt, they're probably the second best historically SEC program. They've won the College World Series 0 times, but they've been the runner-up once, made 10-plus appearances. They are regulars in the NCAA tournament. And then finally, University of Texas, the greatest college baseball program of all time. They are always in the tournament. They have won the College World Series more than anybody. 6 times. They've been runner-up also 6 times. They've made 20-plus appearances. I'm looking at their Wikipedia page right now. It's pretty much every single year they're in the NCAA tournament. So check out for them. And they are the highest rated seed or the highest ranked team in the College World Series. So they probably are the favorites along with Tennessee. But anyway, we can talk a little bit about these teams. Texas, Mississippi State, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, all very well-rounded teams. They all kind of do everything really well. Specifically, Mississippi State, their offense is very high-flying. But if you like home runs, you should watch Arizona. Arizona just cracks the shit out of the ball. They hit like for example, their game-winning game against Ole Miss this past weekend, 15 runs. It was like a 15 to 6 or something like that. 15. It was absolutely insane. They hit their pitching is okay. It's serviceable, but their main thing is that they just have an amazing offense, very high powering offense. So if you like to watch offense, that's the team to watch. The games start this Saturday. Again, it's best. It's a double elimination. So if you are rooting for, let's say, Texas and they lose their first game, don't worry, they're not out of it yet. But it'll be a lot of fun to watch, and I encourage you to watch it because I will be watching it.
Also, I had to double check. Most prominent quarterback out of the U of A, none other than Big Dick Nick Foles.
No way, he went to U of A?
Yeah, that's who it was. And then
Whoa.
Gronk went to U of A, so that makes sense.
No,
that was
Gronk
awesome.
Went to Arizona State too.
I just looked it up. God damn it, it's on the way.
Oh, really? Because I remember him
Anyways.
going on Fallon and being like, "I went to Arizona State. We're not number one anything, but we're number one party school." But maybe he said University of Arizona.
Yeah. Very insightful. Appreciate the knowledge. Dropping dimes like Galileo dropped the orange. You know. And just to give a quick schedule rundown for those of you who are interested in watching. The first game is game 1, Stanford on Saturday the 19th. Stanford versus NC State. It's going to be at 11 a.m. on ESPN. And then we got Vanderbilt versus Arizona at 4 p.m. on ESPN as well.
One of those two power pitchers will be starting that game also that you were talking about, Julio.
Jack Leiter or Kumar Rocker.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sunday for Father's Day. Hey, you're just sitting around, you're chilling at home, you're with the family. Why not just have some background baseball on? We got Tennessee at Virginia. That's going to be at 11 a.m. on Saturday or Sunday. And then Texas versus Mississippi State at 4 p.m. on and both games will be on ESPN2. I don't think I will be able to watch those because I am going to a lavender field that day.
That sounds fun. Where is that
at? It's near Palm Springs, so it's gonna be hot as shit. I'm stoked. I think it's gonna be really cool to see it. And Wendy's really hyping it up. I'm into that kind of shit. So
heat wave going on SoCal.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal out here. Olivia Rodrigo reference. What's up? All right, Chris. I think
that's all I gotta say. And if you like college sports, you'll definitely like it, especially if you like the atmosphere. If you like playoff atmosphere, insane fans, fun.
The fans are nuts. Like you'll see it in the highlights.
Yeah.
Like the fans are weirdos.
And they fucking barbecue out in the fucking like outfield and shit. And on top of that, and the players are super into it. That's the funnest part about it. So it's fun. It's fun atmosphere.
Who knows? Maybe there's a player you'll watch, you'll get attached, and they'll be a part of your Oakland Athletics. Yeah. Let's go ahead and jump to some A's news. I think we're going to take up too much time, so we're going to jump into our main headline segment. But like we alluded to at the beginning, the A's have been really on fire. Knock on wood. If you're
12-2, boy.
Start the month of June 12-2. For some reason, they just really love playing in the month of June. Oh, that being said, for some reason, people are not recognizing it. The first ballot for the All-Stars have came out, and the A's have counted up 0 players in the top 3 of vote getting in any position.
But Julio, that happens every year. Like
except for 2014. For some reason, 2014. Yeah,
you're right. Except for 2014. That was. Did we have any starters? Was JD a starter?
I'm pretty sure JD was a starter because it was JD, Brandon Moss, Jeff Samardzija. Technically, I think they were They just traded for him. Cespedes, Scott Kazmir, and
that's right. They had 7.
I think Doolittle. Dude, Derek. No, wait, Derek. Okay, I'm gonna restart it.
Derek Norris too. Yeah, there's 7. There were 7 that year. I remember.
Cespedes, Brendan Moss, Donaldson.
Yeah.
Kazmir, Sonny Gray, Doolittle.
Yeah, that's right.
6. Yeah.
But I think JD was the only starter because that was like his MVP season. So people were, or no, 2013 was that. But he was in
2015 was his. Yeah. Anyways, catchers. Salvador Perez is currently leading. Well deserved. One of the best of this generation.
Yeah.
Sean Murphy is in 10th, which okay.
I think that's pretty fair.
Our dude, former Oakland great, Marcus Semien, he's in first place or second base. Jed is in 8th, which, okay, I get it. Third base, Rafael Devers for the Red Sox has been electric to start the year. Matt Chapman's in 9th, which the fact that he's even top 10 is great because he's been so terrible to start this year.
Yeah, that's more his name, Julio. I would say is the reason why he's getting those votes.
Xander Bogaerts leading for shortstops. Elvis is at 10th. Again, get it.
Yeah.
DH, it's Shohei. He's going to run away with it. Mitch isn't even there, which I get it. The outfield is where it's going to get a little spicy, and first and foremost. So Mike Trout is leading all vote getters. Mike Trout hasn't played in 3 weeks. And then it's Aaron Judge and Byron Buxton, who, you guessed it, hasn't played in a while. And then you got...
And Aaron Judge has only played like 30 games, dude.
It seems like every year he's that. Lourdes Garcia, Teoscar Hernandez, Randall Grichuk, Alex Verdugo, Randy Arozarena, and then Michael Brantley, who also hasn't played much. But over in 17th place, we have Ramon Laureano, who he's been hurt, so I'll give him that. Mark Canha's 20th. No way in shit Mark Canha is worse than Miles Straw or Kike Hernandez or George Springer. I don't think he's even played any games this season. Or Mitch Haniger. Like, that's total bullshit. And I think that's very, to quote, I can't remember who the basketball player who started this phrase, that's very casual of baseball voters to put all these guys higher than Mark Canha.
This is why I fucking hate the fan voting starters. Like, it's just like fans don't fucking know shit. And like, they put out these email blasts like, go vote for your all-star. And like a casual fan's going to go up there and be like, he's not going to look at the numbers and be like, oh yeah, Mike Trout, that sounds right. Yeah.
That isn't the biggest problem. First base, Vladdy Guerrero Jr.
Yeah.
Which, my 2 cents on him. He's been awesome this year. He leads baseball in home runs. And
so
he leads baseball in almost every offensive category, which cool. He deserves. How the fuck is G-Man Toy ahead of Matt Olson when G-Man Toy has been hurt all year? Matt Olson is third in the American League in home runs. He's hitting 280, high 280, I think low 290.
He's hitting 290 now.
Elite, like probably easily the best defensive first baseman out of all these guys. He should have won it last year over stupid Eli White or whatever his name is in Seattle. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
That is so casual. That's so pedestrian that you got one. Let's see. Jose Abreu, solid. I get it. Yuri Gurriel, solid. No offense to Jared Walsh. No. Matt Olson's a better first baseman. He's better at every statistical category than Jared Walsh is.
The thing is, Matt Olson still has better stats than all of those guys in front of him except for Vlad. So like you can understand Yuli Gurriel and understand Jose Abreu, but like that's still fucking bullshit because he's still has better stats offensively than those guys. So I want to also make a public apology to Vlad Guerrero because I shit on him about 3 weeks ago on this podcast because I thought he was I thought it was just his name recognition, but I looked up his stats 2 days ago and fuck, he's good.
Yeah, he's finally clicking, man. He finally got it.
Yeah. But yeah, this is, I mean, I don't know. I mean, and here's the thing with 2014. 2014, I think we had that much success because, and again, we only had one starter. So that means only one person was in the public eye to where they wanted to vote for him. And that was after an MVP finalist season in 2013 from JD, but the rest of those guys were voted in by the players and the coaches. So that's the reason why those other 6 guys got in. Unless we're like at the top of like baseball in terms of like those really just stud good teams like we were in 2014. At that time, we were the best team in baseball, and we got a lot of media attention from that from on all the platforms, even ESPN. Yeah, where it's never going to happen because we're the Oakland A's. It's just not. I mean, it's not the 1980s. We don't have that public recognition like we did back in the day. It just won't happen.
Yeah, I think you kind of nailed it when you said Chappie getting votes because he's probably the most known A
because of his name.
Yeah, him, Laureano, and I'm hoping Laureano can really tear it up the next couple of weeks that he's back. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah,
but realistically, give me your A's All Stars this year. Realistic, not like Sean Murphy, which love it, but it's probably not gonna happen.
I only think it should be 3, to be honest with you. I think it should be Matt Olson, Sean Manaea, and Chris Bassett. Those are the only 3 I can really give realistic preview to, or whatever, for lack of a better word. I would have said Ramon had he been healthy because he was having an all-star year before that, but no, it's just gonna be those 3, and those 3 will get in. I can almost guarantee it because that's 2 of the best 2 pitchers in the league so far this year, and arguably the best first baseman. So like the players and coaches will figure that one out.
Sean's got a sub-3 ERA. I think he's like top 5 in an American League in ERA right now. Yeah. And Bassett's like 7, and then Bassett's up there with Shrek. I think both should be there. I don't see why they're not going to be there. Yeah. Agree with Ollie, obviously. Ramon, if Ramon can go nuclear over these next couple weeks and he can still get some of those votes in and hopefully get like a fan vote in, we'll see. And with Trout being out, we'll see about that.
I saw some people on Twitter bitching about Canna not getting more love, but like, let's be honest, Canna, the only stat line that he really like just dominates in is runs scored, and like that's just not enough of a stat to. It's not a top 3 for hitting. You know what I mean? It's not going to be enough to get you on the All-Star ballot. And I think he's hitting 250 now, which is great. He's been hitting better. But OBP is like the main stat that he kills it in. But like this analytics don't get you on.
We saw he made another great play today. So
yeah, I mean, sure, but that's not what casual fans are looking at.
The casuals. They don't watch games. God, who was the basketball player that said that? Like, oh, they're just casuals. Was that KD?
No, Katie's thing was maybe he said that too. His thing was the Blog Boys. The Blog Boys, yeah.
I'm sure next week we're gonna be bitching more about this. Hopefully get some more votes. But for those of you who are listening, hey, go vote. Go show your boy some love, because you know what? Odds are Ollie's not gonna be.
And you can vote 20 times per email account. So if you have multiple email accounts, you should vote.
Get those KD burners, you know.
And they make it pretty easy. They just be like, "Do you want to submit your last ballot?" And you're like, "Yeah, I will." And you just click enter. Like, it's pretty easy to get your 20 votes in.
Because look, he's not going to start. Vladdy's going to start, and he deserves it. He's arguably the MVP so far in the season. But hey, as long as we're not embarrassed about the result anymore, that's the biggest thing.
Do you think Oli will play in the World Baseball Classic? That'd be dope. He'd probably be the starting first baseman, right?
Him or Freddie?
Yeah, probably Freddie.
That's a toss-up. Yeah, let's see. Freddie's been having a down year, but we'll that's for another day. So some more A's news.
It'll be Freddie.
Bomel has been extended into the 2022 season. I feel like that kind of, to me, that changes a little bit of the perspective of
Was Ann Whitney just yelling at your dog?
No, she sneezed probably because of the dog. But that kind of changes the trajectory of this season, because I've been very doom and gloom with this season, that it's like, go all in. This is it. Canna's a free agent. Chappie's not happy. Bomel's last year. Go all in. But Bomel's coming out for another year. So maybe I was wrong about that. But honestly, the guy deserves it. He's a rock. I don't care what the haters say. The guy... there's not many people in the world who can kind of do what he can with what he has.
Julio,
we
haters
don't really have to say much about it. So
haters like suck. You know?
Is that it? Just haters suck?
Yeah. Like, Bomo's tight. Like, how could you not like him?
Okay. No, I just gotta say, as a person, and the reason people love him so much is like, he just seems like the most down to earth person. And I want to say this as last week the A's hosted Pride Night in Oakland, and his daughter, she's pretty active on Twitter. She's a part of the LGBTQ community. And there was an article, I think the SF Chronicle wrote it, but at the end, she had some saying it. And she's like, my parents have always been so abrasive of me and have always been so open with me. And that allowed me to be so comfortable as a person. Right. And that just shows you the kind of person he is at the end of the day. He's such an accepting person. He's very, everyone. And I love how a few weeks ago, I think Tony Kemp said, like, he got after us kind of thing. And he's so accepting of people's differences, and he wants to get everybody the same kind of, get into the same kind of mindset. And it's so hard, not just in baseball, it's so hard to find people like that in the world. Yeah. So to have somebody like that, I don't care if, shit happens on the field. Most of the time, he's going to get the blame for it, but it's probably not his fault. I think he deserves all the credit he should do. One interesting thing, we'll move on from here because we're running over on today's pod, but Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got 3 MLB Manager of the Year awards. Yeah.
Even if he never wins a World Series.
We've seen.
If he wins a World Series,
we've seen managers go into the Hall of Fame who have never won a World Series. We've seen that.
Okay, I'm going to make a comparison then. Buck Showalter, should he be in the Hall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those Yankees teams in the 90s don't get enough credit, or early 90s don't get enough credit, but they were good. Just the rest of the American League was better.
Baltimore, the early 2010s.
Yeah. I mean, he turned that franchise around. Yeah. I mean, it's just so I think those early Yankees teams made the playoffs like once, but they were always in the mix. Just like they had to go up against like the fucking Bash Brother A's and the Twins and the Blue Jays. Yeah. Like it was tough for them. All right. Yeah. Let's move on. Ramon, the laser is back.
That's my
I don't want to talk
like my Mega Man like laser cannon. I
want to piss people off in my hotel room, but
yeah.
That was nice cannon.
It's my like Mega Man. It's
like, guess what we got? We got 2 tickets today, Julio, to the gun show. No, sorry, I don't know why when you did that cannon little like move, it made me think of that. I don't know why, but yeah, he's back. He played today. He had 1 hit, right? Can't remember.
Yeah, he had 1 hit, but guess what? It was a bomb.
It was a home run. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Which is great. He's a man of the community. He's very much a modern day Robin Hood. He takes one, he gives one, because he robbed Justin Upton of a home run earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
I love that because
Justin Upton looks so confident when he hit that ball. Like, oh, this is gone.
He should be. The ball flies during the day. He's really been excellent in this last month. So yeah, he should feel confident, but it's like, hey, guess what? He's back. It's like I tweeted at the Super Halo Bros. I'm like, if you don't know, now you know he's back.
Yeah.
And it's weird. When we were like pleading for Pinder to came back, it was more of the thing that like the depth was awful. The depth was awful. But the thing is, over these last 2 weeks, we've kind of talked about how excellent the team has played since the beginning of June.
Sky Bolt's been playing pretty well, man. I've been liking him out there.
Yeah, he was serviceable. I think he's played excellent defense, as you saw the other night, but I don't think he's not going to be there every game, or like a plug and play kind of guy.
There's no shot. Yeah.
No. But like just to have some Ramon back, man, just to have that even more depth where you can plug him at the top of the lineup and you can move, Chappie's been hitting too, and he's been hitting way better over these last few weeks. You can move him down now. Elvis, I'm going to talk about him a little bit more later, but you can be so much more flexible at that lineup. And that's what makes those great teams great, is like, okay, you got a lefty coming out there. Cool. Well, we're going to go ahead and just plug away, put like heavy righty lineup and every day in and day out. And having somebody like Ramon out there who if a lefty is going to be pitching, guess what? He's going to crush him. And it's just great to have that flexibility back. Great to have that energy, because there's not many guys who really bring it like he does.
Yeah, and right field's been a problem. So it's nice that we don't have to shuffle through these guys, and Sky Bolt and Seth Brown don't have to play together at the same time. And we can throw Chad Pinder out in right field and fucking Ramon center, and yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be great. I'm actually really confident in an outfield with Ramon center, Cannon left, and Pinder right. That sounds glorious to me. That sounds like a solid outfield.
Yeah, yeah. My only problem would be, I think, just the lineup variability, like the variety you can have a lineup, and just having like you can't play Jed every day just because, you know, old man Jed. Tony Kemp is starting to seem lineup proof where you can just play him every day now.
That's what I was gonna say. Tony Kemp's been playing so well. He's been hitting 2 in the order, sometimes leading off. Like, he's been getting done.
All I'm saying is, I really do think another outfielder is like the way to go at the trade deadline. And like a corner outfielder to just really solidify. Even if, you know, sending Seth Brown, because he's so streaky, but he's a rookie, so of course.
But he pounds the shit out of the ball, which is nice.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm excited. I'm just, honestly, Ramon's back. The excitement whenever he does something, not many players on this team really builds up. Alrighty, Chris, I think it's time to take break time. Break time. This is a long episode, so, you know, if you're listening, and I hope you're still along this long, go and take a break, you know, just go ahead and stand up, you know, stretch out a little bit. If you're in your car, you know,
and when Julio finally stops rambling, you can actually take this break. So stick around and we'll be right back.
All right. See ya.